Salaki. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Kakadash. And the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and His unbegotten Son, Ba'Shem. In the name of Hamashiach Yahushua, those are the true names in ancient Paleo Hebrew, Balash in the tongue. And I say Barak to the elders and apostles, Ba'akim, Ba'akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson of the earthquakes in diverse places as of April the 23rd, 2026, on this Thursday night. So check out the latest earthquakes. Because you had a earthquake over there in Missouri, I think outside of St. Louis. I mean, of course, it wasn't a large earthquake, but it was an earthquake that took place. Yeah, this is from AOL.com article published by Brian Sylvan Thursday, April 23rd at 2:25 p.m. And it says a magnitude of a 4.0 earthquake strikes southeast of Missouri. It says shakes fell across 6 states. It says a magnitude of a 4.0 earthquake struck southeast Missouri with shakings across multiple states in the Midwest and Southeast, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. I mean, even though it wasn't a big earthquake, but it was still an earthquake though, but not as a big earthquake though. It was just a small magnitude of a 4.0 earthquake. It says the earthquakes occur in the Missouri Backley Bofi near Coulter around 12:59 p.m. It says near the Alaskan, Tennessee, and Kentucky state lines. It says since 2000, there have been only 10 others in the states of at least of a magnitude 4.0 in the region. Right, so it happened in that region, in the Midwest, in the Southeast region, ever since 2000. That's a long time. It was like 26 years ago. That was the first ever time in 26 years. It says that between 10 other intersections have at least of a 4.0 magnitude earthquake in the region, according to USGS. It says Thursday's quake ranks among the 5 strongest in the past 25 years, and that's a long time for the past 25 years. So it's not really known to have earthquakes, shaky felt like in certain parts of the Midwest and in the deeper southeast region. It says Thursday quakes ranks among the 5 strongest in the past 25 years. It says the USGS Community Internet Intensity Map, which tracks shaking damage and intensity reported, and the shake was felt in 6 states. It says Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, and Mississippi. So you had a 4.0 earthquake outside of Missouri. I mean, outside of like outside of St. Louis. It was like the southeast, like a small town. It was like 4.0 earthquake in that region. So we're definitely going to be seeing the earthquakes in diverse places. So go to the latest earthquakes.com. And this is from the US earthquake.usgs.gov. And you had a 3.4 earthquake in the Furnace Creek of California. And then you had a 4.9 earthquake in the Kermadec Islands, 2.8 earthquake southwest of Hialeah, Hawaii, 4.7 earthquake in the southeast of Nikolaski of Alaska, 2.7 earthquake in 63 kilometers Cantwell, Alaska, 4.5 earthquake 84 kilometers northwest Elangelo, Vanuatu, 4.9 earthquake in Yaogo village of Guam. Because Guam is like it's like a U.S. Territory. 5.0 earthquake, 147 kilometers east of Tasego, Japan. And you had a 2.8 earthquake recorded 51 kilometers southeast of Sandpoint, Alaska. 3.8 earthquake recorded. 3.0 earthquake recorded 138 kilometers southeast of Ackleton, Alaska. 4.6 earthquake. And I remember that in that same area in Sandpoint, Alaska. I think it was like a couple months ago. We had that large 7.3 earthquake in that area. That was like a couple months ago. I remember that. 4.6 earthquake recorded. 275 kilometers east of northeast of Las Lipios, Timor-Leste region. And then you had a 4.5 earthquake recorded 40 kilometers west of northwest of Calinao, Dura of Argentina. And then you had a 3.0 earthquake 70 kilometers southeast of Kings Cove of Alaska. 3.0 earthquake 282 kilometers west of Fernandale, California. And then you had that large earthquake of a 4.0 outside of St. Louis, Missouri. It was like 1 kilometers in Cooter, Missouri, which is like a small town. Then you had a 4.8 earthquake in the Southern Kermadec Islands, 2.7 earthquake 7 kilometers northeast of Saldivia village of Alaska, 2.5 earthquake in Indios, Puerto Rico, 3.2 earthquake recorded 38 kilometers northwest of San Antonio, Puerto Rico, 2.6 earthquake recorded 22 kilometers south of Dalanee National Park, Alaska. 3.0 earthquake recorded 3 kilometers east to southeast of San Juan, Puerto Rico. 4.5 earthquake recorded 3 kilometers south of Galiwa, Japan. 2.5 earthquake recorded 90 kilometers south of Sandpoint, Alaska. 4.8 earthquake recorded 34 kilometers southwest of La Portal of El Salvador. And then you had a 5.2 earthquake in the southern mid-Atlantic ridge. And then you had a 5.2 earthquake 108 kilometers west of northwest of Tonga. 5.0 earthquake in South Sandwich Island region. Yep, so those was the latest earthquakes as of April the 23rd, 2026. And you had a total of 37 earthquakes from April the 22nd all the way to April the 23rd. And this is the book of Luke 21, verse 11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places. And that's that you had that 4.0 earthquake. And the shaking felt like in 6 different states here in the United States. And this is like the largest earthquake of magnitude of a 4.0 over there outside of St. Louis, Missouri in the past 26 years. It says Luke 21 verse 11, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places. Because I spoke about that recently about we've been starting to see, the latest of earthquakes been upticking, increasing. It might have been not the largest, but it started to show more increasing uptick of earthquakes in diverse places. And it says, "In great earthquakes shall be in diverse places." Right, so we'll see more and more increasing of great earthquakes in diverse places, and famines and pestilence and different sights and great signs shall be from heaven. That's the prophet. And that's the gospel of Luke 20 verse 11 that Yahushua mentioned that we're going to see uptick of great earthquakes in various places and diverse places. And this is the book of Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 6. It says, "And thou shalt visit of Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake." Right, that's the keyword, earthquake. So the prophet Isaiah was mentioning Yahweh of hosts is going to visit earth with thunder and with earthquake and great noise and storms and tempests and flaming by fire. And this is the book of Psalms 18 and verse 7. It says, It says, then the earth shook and trembled, and the foundations also, the hills was moved, shaking books of rock. So we're going to be seeing more of the shakings with the earthquakes that the Heavenly Father of Him making a visitation on planet Earth, because He's a righteous, balanced power. And this is the book of Second Esdras. It's the Apocryphal books. Second Esdras, chapter 9, in verse 2. It says, then thou shalt understand, it is a very same time where the highest was the Heavenly Father Yahweh will begin to visit the world which he made. So let's see the Heavenly Father Yahweh visit the earth which he made, as the prophet Esdras has mentioned. Second Esdras chapter 9 verse 3. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, upwards people will rise. So more increasing earthquakes in the upwards people will definitely, particularly earthquakes. And so that's what we're seeing, earthquakes in diverse places. We'll bring up another precept, Matthew 24 chapter in the New Testament. And this is Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24 in verse 7. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Right, so nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, so more and more increasing earthquakes in diverse places, which we're going to continue to see. And this is a prophet Isaiah chapter 28. This is the prophet Isaiah chapter 28 verse 2. It says, and thou shalt be visited. Salaki. Isaiah 28 verse 2, and it reads, behold, Yahweh has a mighty and a strong one, which is a tempest of hail and a storm, as a flood of mighty waters shall cast the earth with the hand. Why, so Yahweh Shai is going to visit the earth, cast the earth with the hand, especially with these weather-like conditions, especially with these earthquakes. So with that, hopefully this sit-down lessons are edifying on the earthquakes in diverse places. News updates as of April the 23rd, 2026, on this Thursday night. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash, and the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and His unbegotten Son, Bahashem, and the name of Hamashiach Yahushai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the Lashkadash, the Holy Tongue. I say Barakathon to the elders and apostles, Wa'aki and Wa'akwaf. Until next time, I will say Kum Yeshrala and the Ball, Shalom.